Why am I already blanking on her fucking
Jade.
No, I'm talking about at
Oh, Trish.
Yes, Trish.
You know what sucks too is that the thing about Tiffany is athletic and she's moderately good looking, I suppose. She ain't my cup of tea. I'm sorry, she's got like a fucking square face and she's wearing 15 pounds of makeup. Like, I can't call you pretty if nothing on your face looks remotely real. But you know, it's she has no charisma. She's just loud, but she has no charisma. That's the thing. She is not charismatic. She's not even over. That's the thing about Tiffany. Tiffany is not over. Her motto is over.
About, bro?
There is a difference, Snug. There's a difference between you being over and your motto being over. Like, R-Truth was not over for years. Shouting "What's up" was over.
What's up?
Like, you know,
Jey Uso isn't over because he's just geek.
No, Jay is over.
Is over.
No, that's the thing. Jay's a different story. Jay's over because people begged for him to get the ball. They wanted that. Tiffany Stratton is literally, she's not charismatic at all. I'm sorry. She's just, and who am I? It's Tiffy time. And like, did you literally listen to the promo? I know we're gonna get into it, but the promo on fucking SmackDown,
yeah,
that shit was boring, cringe, and just like it. She can't carry a promo.
That whole entire segment was. I mean, yeah, we'll get into it.
And she's the champion. She's supposed to be able to. She's the champion. She's supposed to be able to carry that shit. But yeah, just like Tommy said, and this is for all of you. I'm sorry. She's fucking ass.
You do that so well, dude.
It's like, I don't care if it's you. I don't care if it's you. You will both know that the WWE universe runs on TV time. Like, no, shut the fuck up.
I love the part where she's trying to get people excited for all women's pay-per-view, and she's just like, and they said that because she got to pick her champion challenger, I get to as well. So you can believe that we're gonna have an amazing night of women's wrestling. Looks around for affirmation for the crowd to start cheering.
I'm clipping that.
Like, I'm sorry. Clip this.
I'm
Tiffany,
clipping that.
Clip this. Tiffany Stratton sucks.
Nah, I'm not clipping that. Just the part before that.
She's fucking cheeks, man. She's cheeks.
She's better than Naomi, but
she wishes.
She's not.
I think we're ready. I'm ready if you are.
All right, let's do this.
Tommy, say your line.
Happy 4th of July weekend, everybody. Welcome back to the Snug Wrestling Podcast. A little late on the SmackDown review because we had to hang out with our family, man. It was 4th of July. Wasn't going to watch SmackDown on the day of, but I watched it a couple days after, and we're back to 2 hours, which was lovely. The fucking show went really, really quick when I watched it earlier this morning, Sunday morning. It was a lovely thing. We're going to go over it with the Snug crew. They're going to help me. They're here with me to go over SmackDown. What's going on, fellas? How was your guys' weekend?
Biggie.
Going pretty good. Sidebar, we're not live on TikTok right now.
Those motherfuckers suspended us again.
Are you serious?
Bro.
I'm dead serious.
Why?
How? For what?
I have no idea. I'm going to have to look into it after this. But as I was setting up the live, they said that it was suspended. So I don't know. Maybe we said something on there on Monday that we weren't supposed to. Because I don't know why else we would get suspended. But we're live everywhere else except TikTok again.
Yay.
Because TikTok loves to be a bitch.
After we lost, well, that's not going to help us get it back.
No, just say this to hate us.
But like literally, after like a month almost and change of waiting.
Yeah, we finally got it back. Yeah.
Wow.
And I was really excited because we got, it helped our numbers last time we went live. We had a few more people watching. But hey, it is what it is. I got to look into it. Last time it was just like a technical issue, but this time it said we got suspended. So I wonder what it was. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I got dinged for bullying Mr. Blood too much or something. I don't know.
Oh, please.
Um,
Well, let's get into SmackDown.
yeah, let's do it, guys, because it started off with Solo Sikoa, the new United States champion, and this whole entire show pretty much revolved around the new bloodline. It's not called the bloodline. It's Solo Sikoa's new faction, and it started with Solo Sikoa. It ended with Solo Sikoa. So the United States champion is being presented as like the main or one of the main things that's going on in SmackDown. And I thought that was lovely because Solo Sikoa pulled up to the parking lot, gets jumped by Jacob Fatu, and that's how the SmackDown show starts. And that's a fun way to start the show, seeing the new champion get beat up by Jacob Fatu, and we're off to the races. We go to the ring where we see Cody Rhodes. But first, before we get into the opening segment, what were you guys' thoughts about just Solo Sikoa, his whole involvement in this whole entire show? Let's start off with that, Mr. Blood. Thoughts on that?
I like that they're presenting the title as a main focus point that gets multiple segments. I think it only serves to help build the mid-card division and the mid-card title on that brand up more, because you're showing that it's important enough to be given multiple segments and multiple bits of TV time too. That being said, kind of makes you wonder why they didn't do the exact same thing when Jacob was holding it. However, I think I'd like to reiterate something I said before, where Jacob feels better as a chaser than the title holder itself. Some guys and girls just feel better and more unique as characters when they are chasing the title. That's one of the biggest problems with like Cody's run. Everybody wanted him to win. Everybody wanted to see the moment he won. And then immediately following him winning, they start turning on him. I said before a couple weeks ago that I felt like the crowd was making less and less noise for Jacob Fatu because it seemed like they loved him more as the badass, kind of heelish version. They wanted him to be this cool heel. And I said the moment they turned him babyface, it felt like he was getting smaller and smaller reactions. And he has been. If you notice, the crowd is loud for him, but they are not as loud for him as they were 2 months ago. So I think putting it on Solo, one of the main acts, is a good thing. And I know that Jacob's going to be chasing it, which is good for him. But I think turning him heel was the wrong move. But I like to see this on the show. Yes.
Yeah. Not a lot of thoughts. Blood really covered some of it, but I like how they're doing this because I feel like it's a way to have Jimmy and Jacob have more like of a relationship, if you would, because they had a tag match earlier in the night, but we'll get to that. Yeah, I just like how they're doing this so they can put Jacob and Jimmy together, but no, don't put them as like an official tag team. Just have them team for a while.
Yeah, completely agree with what the guy said on this. One of the biggest examples of somebody who's way better as a chaser is, as much as I love him, L.A. Knight. Like, I love that even when he was champion, it was a good reign. But he is way better as a chaser than he is a champion. As much as I hate to say it, he is. Now, with the whole Solo Sikoa thing, I do love the fact that this entire SmackDown did kind of revolve around him. Down to the first video that we saw, the first footage that we saw was Solo saying, "Let's go celebrate." Then all of a sudden, here comes Jacob Fatu to smash through the entirety of that group on his own.
Yeah, by the way, can we talk about that? We didn't get a decent celebration for Solo Sikoa, already the greatest U.S. champion of all time. Like, not even 1 second. He didn't even step foot in the arena. He gets jumped right away by Jacob Fatu. I mean, I love Jacob Fatu, but Solo he didn't get no pyro. He didn't get no like balloons or confetti. Like, what are we doing here? It's the greatest U.S. champion of all time, y'all. But hey, maybe next week. But yeah, Jacob Fatu, he doesn't need the title. Even with the title, without the title, I think Jacob Fatu is still over. Solo Sikoa needs the title more. And I like what's happening here. And we're going to talk about them more later on because, like we said already, this whole entire SmackDown revolved around Jacob, Jimmy, Solo, Talatanga, and the other Tonga, and the Tonga Tongas, and all these Tongas all over SmackDown. But you guys, even better news, DM Hunk, Drew McIntyre, is also back. And he got into Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton's opening segment. Cody Rhodes started off in the ring, cutting a promo about how he won the King of the Ring, how he's gone from WrestleMania to King of the Ring, and now he's going to SummerSlam. He compared himself to Austin, Triple H, Booker T, Bret Hart, former King of the Ring winners. And then Randy Orton interrupted Cody, and Randy Orton pretty much, he was like, hey, you know what? You got me. You know, I said I wasn't going to hesitate. I said I was going to pull the trigger on you at King of the Ring, and I didn't. And that's why you won. You didn't hesitate. You beat me. And then Drew McIntyre returns after being gone for what, a month and a half? He was recovering. He had like some injuries he had to recover from, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And he didn't miss a step. Drew McIntyre came back hot. He came back speaking facts like always. You know, Cody Rhodes, he was just buttering you up, Randy. You're not the same Randy that we all used to know. The old Randy's gone. This new Randy, he's not it. He's not it. And that did not sit well with Randy Orton at all. RKO to Drew McIntyre. But I'm so glad Drew McIntyre is back, y'all. Thoughts on this segment here that we saw with these three men?
I liked it. Always great to see Drew. Glad he is back. Was worried he was going to be out much longer because apparently he had a lot of stuff, a lot of injuries he was wrestling through for quite some time. And I was worried he was going to be taken off for like 3, 4, 5 months, something like that. But it was good to see him back. I'm surprised we saw him back so much sooner than we actually did. Kind of wish that when they brought him back, they brought him back in an insanely creative way, in a way that we never would have expected him to re-debut, like at SummerSlam or something like that. Maybe interfering in the match with Punk and, you know, whatever Seth is going to do. But as far as it's concerned, good to have him back. I thought this segment was good. It was fine. I like that Randy acknowledged, he's like, yeah, man, I did hesitate. Kind of him basically saying, look, maybe I'm going soft is kind of what he's hinting at, you know, and he didn't realize, like, I hesitated, but you didn't. And notice that Randy said, and I'm going to be thinking about that for a while. Don't you think I won't be? I'll forget about that. Randy made sure Cody knew that, hey, you didn't hesitate, but because you didn't hesitate, don't think I'm just going to forget about that part. So that's, to me, is an Easter egg towards a heel turn on Randy's part. But as far as it's concerned, you know, Drew did a really cool call out on Randy. He's just like, and you know, the last time you were running roughshod and you were, you know, terrorizing people and this and that, I'm the one who had to come in and stop you. And because the last time Randy was like a mega heel and Drew was still a face, Drew's the one who basically Claymore kicked some sense into Randy. So I like that the tables have kind of turned, and I like that, you know, you'd think Drew would learn by now. Don't turn your back on Randy Orton. Don't ever turn your back on Randy Orton, because he ate an RKO for his troubles. But what really sold to me this segment was Cody's face. He's seen Randy RKO people a million times. Hell, the Cody Cutter is basically an RKO. But it was the way that Randy RKO'd him without a word, and then just rolled out of the ring with malice and just walked up the ramp. And literally, Cody stares blank-faced and kind of horrified at Drew just lying unconscious there, and he's like he couldn't believe that Randy had just done that so close to him. And I think Cody realized, shit, he could have done that to me because I was just as close. So I like that part right there. I think that doubt of his relationship between him and Randy is starting to seep in.
Yeah, that's a major rule. You know how you're never supposed to headbutt a Samoan? Yeah, that's Randy's rule. Don't turn your back on him, or else you will get RKO'd. I wasn't expecting Drew to come back, but thanks to spoilers that I actually accidentally saw, I knew that he was back, so that ruined the moment for me. But yeah, I'm surprised he wasn't out longer. I'm surprised that he came back in this way, and we're getting a match at a glorified house show with him and Randy, and just I thought Randy was gonna RKO Cody right there, but then Drew's music hit. I didn't know when anything was happening. I thought Randy was gonna RKO Cody right there, and then as he was. But anyways, basically everything Blood said. Not a lot of thoughts about this once again. Yeah.
This is a different Cody. I can absolutely tell. This is not the same Cody that we saw at WrestleMania. It's just not. This time, I feel like he's not going to hesitate at SummerSlam. This time, he will pull that trigger and practically do whatever it takes to take down Cena. So, at this rate, it's just, this is not the same Cody Rhodes. It's just not. And I love that. I really do. Because it's going to take somebody like Randy Orton and what happened at Night of Champions to finally get into his head that you can't hesitate this time against John Cena. This is probably your last shot against John Cena. You cannot hesitate this time. And I think he's learned that now.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think, yeah, that's pretty much on the money. This could be Cody's last time wrestling John Cena. This could be the final match that we will ever see between Cody and John Cena. And that's kind of crazy to think about. But no, yeah, these three guys, this opening segment was so entertaining because there's so many things that can come out of this. Like the stare down that Cody and Randy had after Randy Orton hit Drew McIntyre with that RKO. Randy Orton was pissed, kind of like the same way that Randy was looking after their match versus Cody and Randy at Night of Champions, where Randy Orton was just like, there was some fire building up in Randy Orton, and that little stare down, Randy Orton was staring through Cody Rhodes's freaking soul, it seemed like, and that got me excited because I'm like, I want to see these guys wrestle again. I love their match at Night of Champions. That match was fucking lovely, so I'm like, I want to see more of Randy versus Cody. That was fucking good. So I like that stare down. Also, Drew McIntyre, before he left, it looked like he was going for the United States Championship. He was having like some stare downs with Jacob Fatu, but he came back and he went straight to the main event, guys. He went straight to Drew McIntyre, went straight to Cody, straight to Randy. And now Jacob Fatu is not the champion, not the U.S. champion. So, what's next for Drew McIntyre? Is he going for that main event title now? I don't know. We'll see. For now, it was announced Drew versus Randy at Saturday night's main event. And we also saw a little stare down with Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu in that same backstage segment. So, do we see Drew McIntyre go after Solo Sikoa? What do you guys think?
I highly doubt it. They had Drew kind of in the mid card for quite a bit of the beginning of this year and into last year. And I seriously doubt that they mean to relegate and keep him there. I think when they moved him over to SmackDown, he was in the mid card because they weren't sure what to do with him. And the mid card was kind of strong with how hot Jacob Fatu was at the time, and Damian coming over, Braun Strowman was still there, and it felt like the right place to put him. But since he's blown off his feud with Damian Priest, I don't think he should be in the mid card because, in my opinion, Damian Priest and Drew are both main event guys. So if you're only going to put him in the mid card to service building up the other guys in the mid card, it's at the expense of them and the stories they could be telling with the talent that are their caliber, in my opinion. So I do not think, and by the way, in my opinion, Solo has been in the main event circle before when he first formed the Bloodline 2.0, but he's not a main event talent. So as far as I'm concerned, Drew has no business going for the U.S. title unless someone with a bigger name goes for it as well, which would then relegate him to chase it. But Solo's no challenge for him.
Yeah, plus Solo looks like he's got his hands full with everything else going on with him, so it doesn't really make sense to throw Drew McIntyre in that mix right now. So, yeah, let's put Drew McIntyre with the Codys and the Randys and, you know, the main event guys. So, it's good to see Drew McIntyre back. I'm really pumped for that. Well, besides Solo Sikoa and Drew McIntyre being back, most of the matches on this show were tag team matches in some shape or way or form. The first tag team match, it was a three-way tag team match. Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair versus the Secret Hervis. It's a weird name. I can never say that right. Versus Michin and B-Fab, the winners. This was a qualifying match to see who would go and advance to Evolution to challenge for the tag team titles. And this was a match that me and Mr. Blood already talked about on Thursday because it was spoiled for us. And it was Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. This odd couple that got put together. It's an unlikely duo. They're not friends, but Alexa Bliss's idea is to, since Charlotte Flair hasn't been in the spotlight as of late, Alexa Bliss is trying to give Charlotte the opportunity to step back into that spotlight by getting tag team gold. The match wasn't bad. The only complaint about this match is that one of the girls from the Secret Hervis did a Canadian Destroyer, and since Penta has been in the WWE, that's been Penta's finisher. No one else has been doing Canadian Destroyers, at least not that I know of, since Penta's been in the WWE. But this girl did it in this match. It wasn't even a finish. She didn't get a pin out of it, and it's just like, what are we doing here? But other than that, I like the finish of the match. The right team won, even though I got the results was spoiled for me. Charlotte Flair hitting the moonsault, getting distracted by Chelsea Green. Alexa Bliss getting the pin instead of Charlotte, kind of saying, hey, you're in the spotlight, but I'm going to take the spotlight from you tonight. So there's a little tension there, but it's like a little competitiveness within Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, which I think is going to make a great tag team. But what do you guys think about this?
Well, it's not that so much that Alexa stole the spotlight back from Charlotte so much as Charlotte didn't realize she accidentally tagged Alexa in. Because when she patted her on the head when she was on the ropes, she patted her on the head twice while she went to the top rope to hit her her move off the rope. She didn't realize that was considered a legal tag. So without thinking about it, she tagged her in and then tried to clear the ring. And then while her back was turned, you hit the Twisted Bliss and the pin gets taken. And then, you know, at the end of it, Charlotte's just like, it's all yours. You know what? Fine. Go ahead. Take it. Whatever. And trying to, you know, force herself to play nice. I also like at the end where Charlotte came up and gave her this hug, this really energetic hug, and then automatically shoved her off like, wait a second, what the hell am I doing? Kind of like she was trying to fight the urge to actually enjoy working with Alexa. I will say, when I saw this match lined up and I saw the three teams in it, the first thing I thought was, well, I know Michin and B-Fab ain't winning. And I was like, really, this was just a question of, okay, well, is it Meechin and B-Fab, or is it the Secret Harvest that's going to eat the pin? Because it's one of those four girls. I just knew it. Sure as hell no, they ain't pinning Alexa, and ain't fucking no way they're pinning Charlotte Flair on a Friday Night SmackDown. So I was like, okay, so which one of you poor bastards is doing the 310? So as far as it was concerned, I thought the match was fine. As far as the Canadian Destroyer is concerned, I think that it just depends on who's using the move to where it's considered effective or not. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because at one point, remember the Big Show used the WMD, the Weapons of Mass Destruction knockout punch, but you'd see plenty of other guys fucking big as shit like Mark Henry or Kane punching guys in the face, and they weren't getting knocked out with one blow. So just because it's his finisher doesn't mean everybody else has got to stop doing right hand punches. You know what I mean? Like Charlotte Flair uses a big boot as a signature. Plenty of other people still do big boots. So I think it just depends on, well, maybe Penta just has a little extra flourish, or it's more powerful because he's a bigger guy when he does it. And maybe Alba Fire just isn't as strong as a grown man throwing another woman. So maybe it's not the same amount of impact. But that being said, I like this. I like the fact that you have two women who are I think we spoke about this on Thursday, Snug, on the live. Charlotte and Alexa have the most title reigns of any active woman currently on the roster of WWE. Charlotte's at 14 or 15, and Alexa's at like 7 or 8 world titles. So those two hold more than anybody else. To see two basically main eventers here, main event level talent here as a team, I love it, because it always gives me that 2-man power trip vibe, that the mega powers vibe. Two main eventers working together. So I'm here for it. I love it. Can't wait to see what happens.
I do think that the right person, the right team won in this, but at the same time, I wanted Meechin and B-Fab, because me personally, I think they're wasted talent. Meechin is wasted. B-Fab, she needs some work, but she's getting there. But I see what they're doing. They're trying to put people because the women's tag titles are dying, basically. So they're putting people together that would bring the titles up from where they already are. So that's why I do think Charlotte and Alexa was the right pick for this, but I would have liked to see Meechin and B-Fab go on to Evolution.
Yes, the right team won, but Meechin and B-Fab deserve better. Come on. They're becoming Finn Balor at this point. They're on a massive losing streak. They deserve better than this. Although, like I said, the best team did win on this. The right team did. But it does feel extremely weird watching Charlotte Flair, of all people, go after anything except the women's world title. It just feels so weird not seeing her go after a world title.
Yeah, and I think a big part of the reason that they went with Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair too is just because of the star power. They want to get as many known names for this PLE at Evolution, which we'll get into more later on. So I think that's a big reason for that. But yeah, Charlotte Flair, has she ever won the women's tag team titles? I'm not sure. No, never, right? So yeah, that is weird.
She literally, since being in on the main roster, has only held the both world titles, so SmackDown and Raw's, when they were still the colorful
Divas.
belts, and the Divas. Yes, I hadn't gotten there yet. Toxic, thank you. But she has never held the women's IC nor the women's United States titles either, because they weren't invented yet. So I don't hate Charlotte being my favorite. Everybody knows that. No one loves Charlotte Flair in this chat more than me. I think that having her go for mid-card gold only helps to boost up those divisions. You've got it. She's at that point in her career. as is Alexa, where you need to use their star power to boost other divisions, to make people pay attention to other divisions. So if you put someone like her in an IC or a United States or a tag title division, people, whether they love or hate her, are going to pay attention because they're going to want to see if Charlotte wins lol. So I think that's a big thing. And Alexa's always been popular. So sticking her there too only helps the women's tag team division, in my personal opinion. I think it's a smart move. It's exactly why they stuck Becky with the IC title. It makes sense. Main eventers boosting the mid card.
Yeah, and also it's a nice change, like how Tommy said. Like, it's weird to see Charlotte go for something else other than the main title, because we've seen, we've read, we've heard all the, hey, oh, Charlotte, she comes back and she gets another title run and blah blah blah. So now they, what are they going to say? She's never gone for the tag team belt, so hey, why not, right? All right, so we go from 1 3-way tag team match to a 8-man tag team match, and this is the men's tag team division. And as much as I like to nitpick about the tag team division, this is starting to get over with me. The action was decent, because it was like one guy from each tag team versus the White Six. We got Uncle Howdy in this 8-man tag match, so that was cool. We don't really get to see him wrestle a whole lot. And they're building up the White Six into this really strong tag team, right? Or faction. Every single tag team, instead of setting their minds on the tag team titles and the Street Profits, they are focusing on taking out the White Six first. So the stipulation is if the White Six win this 8-man tag team match, that makes them the number 1 contenders for the tag team titles, the Street Profits. And nobody wants that. Nobody wants the White Six to go for them. So we're building up a strong tag team, a serious threat. And when we put them versus the Street Profits, we have an interesting dynamic here. Are the Street Profits going to be able to take down the White Six? Right now, it's looking like not really, but what if they do? This could either put the Street Profits over in a really big way, or we get a new tag team champions in the White Six that's really strong, built up really strong. If the White Six win the tag team titles, who the hell's going to be able to beat them? So I'm getting more and more interested the more I talk about it when it comes to this whole tag team division and what they're doing with this.
I will say that as far as concerned, I think I liked how the match dynamic was. Yeah, it was like one of each of us is going to team up to go up against this one team on their own. So a bunch of us who aren't cohesive with each other at all versus a team that is nothing but cohesion. I like at the end that Gargano basically just wimps out in the face of Eric Rowan like, hell no, and screws over, I believe it was Alex Shelley, and
Chris Sabin.
And Chris Sabin just gets that fucking face palm vice grip choke slam and 1, 2, 3, you're out of here. And Eric Rowan looked great in this match, as he always does. Eric always so deceptively athletic for his size. And I love seeing him actually get, the shine and the pin. So for me, I think when it comes down to this, to me, the Street Profits are what the New Day were in their prime, like prime late 2010s freaking New Day, like unstoppable, the most athletic on the show, the craziest tag matches, and just nothing but charisma, pouring out of every crevice in their bodies. That's the Street Profits. So the fact that no one wants to verse Wyatt Six makes sense. What are you going to do? It's a super faction. Most tag teams are 2 people. What are you going to do up against, 5? So, what the hell are you going to do? So essentially out of the 5 of them, there's 2 teams that are already makeshift and you can interchange them at any point. And then you still have Nikki Cross. So I wouldn't want to go up against him either because just when I'm about to win, there's Nikki Cross screaming in my face off the turnbuckle or the top rope. And then bam, I'm done. But I like where this is going. I haven't decided yet if I want the Street Profits to lose them to Wyatt Six, because I think the Street Profits need to hold them a little longer, because they waited so long to get them. And I feel like if the Wyatt Six gets them, I don't know why, and forgive me for saying this because I love the Wyatt Six and I love Bray Wyatt's memory. I feel like if they hold them, they start to get stale, because we run the same problem we did when you put the world title on the Fiend. You can't beat him without him getting made to look weak. That's the problem.
I said this, what was it, 2 weeks ago, a week ago? I don't know, but whenever there was a SmackDown in Saudi and blood was fashionably late, no offense, but I said I think this leads into something. No matter who wins next week between the Wyatts and the Street Profits in the title match, because the Wyatts won this, and they won the 8-man. I think this leads into one massive ladder match. Literally every single team, yes, Snug, your favorite. Your favorite. You love multi-man matches. Anyways, you have every team, including the Garzas, even though they are the AAA tag team champions, and you throw in Rey Fenix and Andrade because they are I'm pretty sure they're confirmed like a new tag team. But like I said, I think this leads into one massive ladder match at SummerSlam, and I'm excited to see where this goes.
I do not blame Gargano for jumping off that apron. I really don't, because Eric Rowan's fucking terrifying. Like, even just looking at him, he is full-blown terrifying. What I have noticed, and Snug, you did bring up good old Uncle Howdy, the last couple of weeks, they have been subtly bringing up old Bray Wyatt stuff. Such as a couple of weeks ago, they pulled out the unused Fiend version 2 jacket out and put that on Howdy. On Friday, they pulled out the Royal Rumble gear from Bray Wyatt's final match with LA Knight. They pulled that gear out as well. I absolutely love these subtle little things that point to, hey, I didn't start this. He did. This is all him. I absolutely love the subtle little things like that. But this match, I will say, I don't think it was match of the night. I do not think that this was match of the night. But hey, it was a good match.
So now that we know who's up next to face the Street Profits, did they say when this match is going to take place yet? Did Toxic?
Next week.
Next week on SmackDown, right? And you made a prediction that you think that it may lead to something else at SummerSlam, right? So are you predicting like some type like a no contest or interference or something? Is that why?
No, I think there is going to be a winner, no matter who it is, the Profits or the Wyatts. No matter if it's DQ. If it's DQ, I can see Nick Aldis coming out here and like, all of you, like imagine every tag team is out there like they were for the SmackDown in Saudi. Nick Aldis gets frustrated. He pulls an Adam Pearce and he's tired of it. He says, all of you and Rey Fenix and Andrade at SummerSlam. I can see that because it's the first 2-night SummerSlam. You want something massive. You want a big match for the first 2-night SummerSlam.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past them. One last question: when it comes to this 8-man tag and the tag team division and the whole Wyatt Six thing, you have 4 guys in that faction, and it was Dexter Loomis and the other guy. I always forget his name.
Joe Gacy.
Joe Gacy. They're the ones that are always doing the tag team matches, always partnering up. But now that they're getting a title shot, do you put those two guys in the match, or do you put Uncle Howdy in?
I think you got to go with who's the most well-oiled, most cohesive. Like the thing, like I said before, is that there's basically essentially 2 tag teams inside of this one faction, and you can honestly combination or do a combo of any of these 2 men or these 4 men into any group of 2. Uncle Howdy could be, but I feel like they save Uncle Howdy for very specific occasions. So I feel like you've got to pick. Do you want your 2 big guys, Loomis and Rowan? Do you want Gacy, who's the fast, kind of high-flying, spry one, mixed with Loomis, who he already works so well with? Or, you got to decide. And that's the thing. It's going to come down to, because I'm pretty sure it's going to go under Freebird rules. If the Wyatt Six win those belts, it's the Freebird rules. Now, if you don't know what the Freebird rules are, the Freebird rule is when a tag team, which is 2 men, and that's inside of a stable, win the titles. However, any combination of those 3 men are allowed to defend the titles. It's called the Freebird rule. So, because the old Freebird tag team. Same. That's why whenever the New Day were wrestling, sometimes you'd see Woods and Xavier. Sometimes you'd see Xavier and Big E, or yada, yada, yada. Same thing. I think it doesn't matter which 2 of them are in this match, so long as if they win, any one of those 4 men can defend them.
Yeah, very possible too. So we'll see what happens with that. Let's go on to the next segment, y'all. Mr. Blood's favorite, Tiffany Stratton, made a big announcement. Now, I got to be honest with you guys. I'm going to need your help with this one because I was just not really looking forward to this segment. So I was kind of in and out of this one. But from what I understood was that, like Io Sky, Tiffany Stratton was given the option to choose whoever she wants to face to defend at Evolution, to defend the title at Evolution versus anyone she wanted. And Jade Cargill came out. I'm not sure why she was out there. I mean, Jade Cargill already has a guaranteed title shot at SummerSlam, but for some reason, Jade Cargill was out there. I thought, is she trying to call her shot for Evolution? Like, she can't wait until SummerSlam? Like, I don't know what's going on here, but whatever. Jade Cargill was there. Tiffany Stratton has a little surprise for everybody, and she's going to go with the legend to defend that Evolution, and it's Trish Stratus. Now, we all love Trish Stratus, right? She's great. She's a legend, blah, blah, blah. They just want to add they just want to add more top names to this Evolution PLE, get more attention on the product. I understand that. But am I the only one that's getting Goldberg vibes here? That's like, I haven't done jack shit in I don't know how long, but I'm going to get a title shot. And it was because apparently this goes back to Tiffany and Trish tag team together before or some shit. But I'm like, another match that, again, I feel like we don't need to see this. Do we?
I'm going to tell you how little I give a shit about this match. This segment was edited on YouTube, where I watched it on Friday evening after I was nice and tipsy from a drink and a soak in my buddy's hot tub while we watched fireworks. So when I came home, should have been nothing but simple to just relax, watch the 3-minute clip on YouTube. I was so bored watching the 3-minute edited version of this actual segment that I was legitimately daydreaming and scrolling on the big bad toy store for the next thing I want to buy for my collection, and forgot I was watching the clip on YouTube. So I had to rewind and actually pay attention, and it was the longest 3 minutes of my weekend. I couldn't care less about this. This is giving Goldberg vibes, because the first thing I thought when you and I covered this spoiler on frickin' Thursday, and I forgot to mention it on the live, was, oh, great. So again, I want to know, why did Jey Uso have to go through a tournament again to get a shot at the title he just lost? And Gunther could just call his shot. And Goldberg can just come in 8 months after a feud that he started, went cold, no one cared and forgot about, and he can just call his shot. Oh, Tiffany can just decide who's next in line. Oh, Io can just decide to give it back to Rhea, even though we just saw her defend it against Rhea and fucking Bianca at WrestleMania instead of giving someone else new a shot. You know, gee, like, I don't know, Asuka. That was a fresh matchup that we've never seen before on WWE TV. So when I saw this, I was just like, I feel like you're fucking insulting my intelligence. I understand that you're trying to sell tickets, but when I see Trish Stratus in all her glory, and don't get me wrong, I loved her shit against Becky a couple years ago. Awesome steel cage match. Probably the best women's steel cage match I've ever seen in my life. However, you get to waltz in there with all your Stratus faction, and then I'm supposed to sit there and just not look the horse in the face and go, you're just trying to sell me a ticket, and that's the only reason you're here. So literally, I don't want to see this match. I don't care about this match. In fact, when this match is on at Evolution, I'm going to take that time to go to the bathroom, wash the counters, clean up from whatever dinner I made, and I'm going to doom scroll on TikTok until I hear ding, ding, ding. Because everybody knows I'm sick of Tiffany Stratton. I don't like Tiffany Stratton. But you know what's even worse about me not liking Tiffany Stratton? Having to sit through a Tiffany Stratton match that I know she's going to retain and win anyway, because they're trying to force the Jade match at SummerSlam. Another match we don't need to see, because neither of those girls can wrestle competently without someone else across them competently calling the match. So that match might be a train wreck if they don't rehearse the shit out of it. And if Trish Stratus isn't ring generaling this match, this next upcoming Saturday, then it's going to be botch fucking city. Because you're talking about someone with severe ring rust in Trish Stratus versus someone who's still semi-green as baby and turtle shit mixed together in Tiffany Stratton. So as far as I'm concerned, this match doesn't need to happen. It shouldn't be happening. It's a waste of time. It's embarrassing. And it's just a celebrity, in my opinion, at this point, it's a celebrity spotlight match in Trish Stratus. That is only there to serve, hey, we love Trish. She's a throwback nostalgia act. We love the legends. And she's going to lose. And we all know she's going to lose. So why do we care?
Yeah, blood. What I'm gonna save a little bit. I'm not gonna spoil my prediction for on Wednesday. Go listen to that when that comes out. But I'm gonna save it. Everything Blood said, I semi agree with. I want to see this match because to me, there's a lot of story, and not a lot, but there's some story in this match between the two. And then you get to thinking, oh, a nostalgia act. What if she wins? And I don't know, but I want to see this match. I don't know why. I just do. I like the fact that it's a newcomer and a legend going at it. I know we've probably seen it a million times, but I'm kind of excited for this.
Unlike Blood, I am also excited for this match. I really am. I mean, as much as I completely agree, this all feels like this whole, hey, here's someone that was in the original Evolution. Let's put her in this one as well. Like, as much as I get why you feel that way, at the same time, Trish could absolutely, yes, she will have ring rust, but she still could carry Stratton and push her more. Because imagine how it would affect her career if she ends up beating a 7-time world champion in Trish Stratus. I'm just going to put that out there.
If I may beg you another question, Tommy. Two things. One, it didn't do shit for Becky when Becky beat her. And two, what does it say? Hey, I can beat a woman in her 50s when I'm in my 20s and in my prime? That boosts my career, that I can beat a retired professional wrestler to retain my championship? it's not going to do anything for Tiffany either. That's my problem with this.
It
won't
means
boost her.
she can be one of the greatest women's champions of all time.
Yes, 15 to 20 years after her prime ended. That's like saying, oh, well, God, Gunther beating Goldberg would be insane. Really? The guy who concussed himself before his last match? That's going to boost Gunther? A man who's almost 60 years old? It's just Gunther beating up a senior citizen.
No, yeah. I mean, I would normally say it would look good on Tiffany Stratton if Trish Stratus was still actively wrestling and she was built up in a way that was like, okay, we have something here. But she hasn't been. She hasn't been on TV for fucking months. So it's just like, she's just there just to be there. So in that sense, Trish Stratus was great many years ago. But I mean, that's it. That's pretty much it. But she did have some interesting things to say in Trish Stratus in her promo. She was like, we used to fight just to have one match on the card, as a women's match on the card. Now we're having an entire PLE. But then she kind of turned it into a personal thing. Oh, my kids haven't seen me win a championship before. And then she kind of made it about herself, and then it was just like, whatever. But I liked how she brought that up. It kind of made Evolution feel a little bit more important, because it is. But I just wish they focused more on that, like the history of Evolution, the history of, the women's division and how it's, where it's at now. But this segment was short and sweet, and then we were in and we were out, and I was pretty much done with it like halfway through it. So we got Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus coming up. Let's go on to the video package that we saw. Solo Sikoa introduced officially, and they said the name, and it sounds even worse when I heard it on live TV, Tala Tonga. What a fucking terrible name. I'm sorry. He's tall. Let's add Tonga to it, and now we have Tala Tonga. I don't know. But Solo Sikoa has some interesting things to say. He introduced his new member. This isn't the bloodline. This is something much stronger. And they kind of do look a little badass. I'm not going to lie. I mean, if you want to just compare like the bloodline, you had Roman, the Usos, you had Sami Zayn. This version, this group of Solo Sikoa, they look at least a little bit more intimidating than the original bloodline. I got to admit that. Solo Sikoa also said that his family is complete, which I thought was really interesting, because the other, was it Tama Tonga? Because the other guy is Tongaloa, right? So Tama Tonga is not there, but Solo Sikoa is claiming that his group is complete. So how is that going to play out when Tama Tonga comes back, if they bring him back? But what did you guys think about the video package for Solo Sikoa here?
Yeah. Like I said last week, it's like kicking a freaking horse, man. It's like kicking an unalived horse. I'm at the point where, like I said last week, they should have ended this fucking bloodline shit at War Games last year, where they were all in the ring together and Roman finally conquered Solo, and they all stood together side by side, reunited again in unison as a team. It was the perfect feather in the cap. To have gone on this long afterwards has done nothing to elevate Solo. It has not elevated Jimmy. It's only served to elevate Jacob for his eventual singles run. It didn't do shit for either of the Tongan brothers, not Tama nor Tongaloa. So, and now we have, what are we doing now? Just drawing names out of a hat for play on words? Hey, he's a Tala Tonga. I have an idea. Like, it's just like, let's call him Tala Tonga, because he's taller than the other Tongas, Put that down and make his nameplate. Like,
And one of the guys literally said, "Oh, I bet you they're gonna call him Talatanga."
Are you fucking
And
kidding me?
they fucking called him
Bro,
exactly what
should have put money on that. Oh my god. Yeah, yeah, you know what that's called? It's called on the nose. Okay? Like, I'm sorry. I do not care. I never thought the day would come where I say I don't care about the bloodline story. I don't care anymore. For me, the bloodline story fully ended at War Games last year. To me, that was the conclusion. That's where it ended. This shit is literally beating and kicking and dragging an unalived horse through the mud, the dirt, the sticks, the tweeds, and the weeds, man. Like, the only person who has benefited from this is we got a little bit of character growth out of Solo Sikoa and an explosion onto the independent or onto the singles competition scene in Jacob Fatu. But guess what? He hasn't been able to escape the vortex for longer than a week because he's still feuding with the same team he left already fucking in Money in the Bank, that he was already on singles gold 3 months ago, and he's still feuding with this same fucking team. Like, I'm just so done with it, bro. It's done. It's over. You think introducing a new, and I'm afraid, and we all thought it was like a funny, cool, like, just a hyperbole when they said, the bloodline story could go on forever. It could go on for generations because there's so many iterations of this. No, man, they're really trying to do this shit. They're going to try to drag this shit out until the Rock's daughters are grown up and in the business. And I ain't just talking about his daughter, Simone. He's got 2 little girls at home. I'm at the point where I think, like, in 20 years, when you and I are old and gray, like, we're still going to be on Bloodline to 25.3. Like, the Bloodline with an update. Like, oh my God, end it, please. I'm so sick of it. I'm done with it.
Dude, this is why I roll my eyes when I read and I hear people say, bring Zilla, and I'm just like, no.
Exactly.
No.
It's like no, because how many more of these people can you introduce? Wait, what? You mean there's the Anawahi family, the Fatu family, and the Maivia family? So we have and now we have the Tongans, their fathered and cousins. So there's 4 different technical bloodlines you can pull in from, and they're all fucking wrestlers. Oh my God, please no. If we're still doing this shit a year from now, I'm going to be really cross. And I ain't talking Killa.
I feel like the only way they can properly bring in Zilla is if, like you've said in the past, they do once again OG Bloodline versus Bloodline 2.0 War Games.
It's not even 2.0 at this point. They'd have to bring Zilla in to side with Jacob and Jimmy. And now, because there's 4 fucking members, they're going to have to pick Jay out of his singles run to throw him over here to do the shit again. I'm like, didn't y'all just come and get Jimmy to help you a year ago? Like, stop recycling this shit. Pull the plug, please.
I'm sorry, but the last Bloodline member I want to see in WWE is Zilla. No more after this. Just please. Maybe even Lance on Hawaii. I don't know. One of those 2. Those are the last 2 I want in WWE. For me, the Bloodline story ended at the first Raw on Netflix when they had the Bloodline rules match for the Ulafala, or as Snug says it, the Ufalafalafa. Yeah. I'm getting once again with Blood, like what Blood said. I'm done with the Bloodline story. Done with it. It's not even the Bloodline. What even is this?
No, they actually made a remark. What was it, last week, that this wasn't the Bloodline anymore? Like,
no,
didn't Solo say in the package, he goes, "This ain't the Bloodline"? Didn't he literally say that?
Yeah, he did.
So it's like, okay, so if you're telling me the Bloodline's done, we had Michael Cole on commentary or whomever several weeks ago who literally stated on commentary that the Bloodline was no more. They literally said that shit. I'm pretty sure it was Michael Cole several weeks ago. So it's like, if the Bloodline story ended at War Games and then Raw on Netflix was the epilogue, to get the Ulafala back. It's done. Are you that creatively bankrupt, Triple H, Nick Khan? I give you so much leeway. We all do. But dude, please. You've now brought what between goddamn Hikuleo, Tama Tonga. You've got Jacob that you brought in. You might bring in Zilla. Like you got in Simone. Like we have so much talent you brought in. What do you do with them when the bloodline story ends? Because at this point, it feels like you only brought them in for the purpose of the story. So what do they do when you disband it? How many singles runs can they go on? These guys feel like they only got hired to serve this story and that you have no plans for them after. That's what it feels like. I feel like all these guys are going to get released in a year.
Well, if we're going to say anything good about this is the fact that Solo Sikoa is looking really good out of this, because now Solo Sikoa is backed up by a bunch of badass looking dudes, great wrestlers, intimidating looking guys. They look good together as a group. Solo Sikoa's
and Tongaloa.
Yeah, and Tongaloa. Solo Sikoa is a U.S. champion. Solo Sikoa is the leader of the group. So all these guys are doing Solo Sikoa's bidding. Solo Sikoa is taking credit for Jacob Fatu. I brought you in. So he's looking really good, and he has a lot of personality. Solo does. So I like how he's the main character of all of this now. And later on, when they decide, you know what, it's time to break up this group. I mean, there's a lot of things you could do there. You can have matches with, whoever stands out. Solo versus Tala or JC Mateo. I know I'm getting ahead of myself because they just got together officially. JC Mateo versus, Solo, and, the same thing that happened with the original Bloodline. Just they can have tag team matches again. But, I mean, there's a lot that can come out of this. But I say we just let this one play out, because I like how you want your United States champion to look good and to look strong, right? And I think that's what they're trying to do. I think that's the whole point of this. Any final thoughts when it comes to this?
Once again, I am going to reiterate this, and I've said this in the past. Why the hell would you have an entire Titantron made with the name fucking Hikuleo on it if you're just going to call him Talatonga? Why? You basically just wasted time making an entire Titantron with the name Hikuleo on it if you're just going to name him something else. It makes no damn sense.
Actual in-ring performance, I didn't really see him wrestle in New Japan, but he's a big dude. Usually big dudes don't really move as fast. So that's what I'm kind of interested to see what happens with him. Can he go in the ring? Or is he another, what's the other Tongan's name, that the guy that always botches all the time, Blood?
Tongaloa.
Or is he just going to be another Tongaloa? I don't know. Where are we at now? We saw another tag team match. We saw 2 more tag team matches tonight, y'all. A lot of fucking tag team action going on this show of SmackDown. Rey Fenix and Andrade, I think it's safe to say they're an official tag team now, because they have been teaming up. I think this is like the 3rd time, maybe 4th time they've teamed up together. And they got another win. They faced Fraxium. And this was an interesting match because Fraxium, they were undefeated up until this point. Fraxium went 4-0. They had a tag team title match, which, by the way, Fraxium didn't lose. It ended in a no contest. And they never got a rematch. Fraxium never got a rematch after that. And they faced Rey Fenix and Andrade, and they got their first L. So Rey Fenix and Andrade defeated a really good tag team on paper in Fraxium, and it looks like they're building up Rey Fenix and Andrade as a tag team. That's really interesting to me because Rey Fenix, he's known to be in one of the biggest tag teams in Lucha Libre, the Lucha Bros, with Penta. So I thought that was really interesting how they're building up Rey Fenix as a tag team competitor with Andrade. But this group or this tag team of Rey and Andrade, I think it's going to lead to something more and potentially some tag team titles. If you have the White Six as tag team champions, this is the team that comes to mind to me. Who could take down the White Six? I think if anything, the way that it's going right now, it might be Rey Fenix and Andrade, and I think that's what they're getting built up to. Would you guys be down to see Rey Fenix and Andrade versus the White Six? I would, but what did you guys think about this match between Fraxium and Phoenix and Andrade?
I'm going to keep this short for time because we went a little overboard on the last segment. So my thoughts are this. Rey Fenix, I said this before, I'm not overly impressed with Rey Fenix because I've seen so many luchador and lucha libre in the last 2-3 years in WWE all get touted as like, oh, the next Rey Mysterio. Oh, they're so amazing. Oh, they're so this. Rey Fenix is incredibly talented. But when you have his brother introduced before him, and I've gotten so used to Penta just being this absolute explosive, person of charisma. And then I see his brother. I'm like, well, it's just like a smaller Penta. It's just like another Dragon Lee. It's just like another Axiom. It's like, for me, I'm just like, I'm not impressed. So, and there's nothing against him. He's incredibly talented, but he's not standing out to me. Andrade, I'm glad he's finally getting something to do after that best of 7 series is the most they've done with him since he came back. And I feel like ever since, honestly, he and Charlotte divorced, I feel like WWE was going to push him to the moon when they knew he was, when Charlotte was coming back off of injury. And the moment they got divorced, they had no reason to try to do anything for him because he's no longer married to one of their top fucking stars with all that pull. So it felt like he got cast to the wayside when that divorce came out. But yeah, these guys are great. I don't know if I feel like they need to take the titles off them, but I'd love to see the match.
I don't know who asked this, but if the Whites beat the Street Profits, take the titles, who's gonna take them off of them because they're gonna be unstoppable? I agree with Snug. I think if the Wyatts take the tag titles next week, it's Rey Fenix and Andrade to stop the Wyatts. Because you have Andrade, I wouldn't say the powerhouse, but the powerhouse high flyer, whatever you want to call him. And then you have Rey Fenix, the actual high flyer. I like them as a tag team. I think that's probably it's probably a mix of Fraxium, but you throw a little bit more in there. So yeah, I think I agree with Snug. Do you think who's to take out the Wyatts? It's Rey Fenix and Andrade.
These two are surprisingly a really good tag team together. When they randomly put these two together, I was not expecting them to be as good as they are together. Because holy shit. I just was not expecting these two to be as good as they are. But, hey, they're great. They just truly are. Fraxium. They did great tonight. I can truly prove that. Or on Friday. My brain is all over the place. But they did absolutely phenomenal here. Especially going up against these two. Two that have shown themselves either in New Japan, in AEW, all of that, as powerhouses on their own. To truly go up against them when they're tagging together It was a great match. I loved it. But I still was not expecting Rey Fenix to be tagged with Andrade. I'm pretty sure we can all agree that the one we thought Rey Fenix was going to be tagged with was Penta.
I mean, it has to happen. It's bound to happen. Ray and Penta, they're going to tag team at some point, but I think they're building up to that. They want to create the best moment possible for that, because when it happens, it's going to be a great moment, a great holy shit moment. And I think that's what, the WWE wants to create, a huge moment out of them finally getting together. Like, the only thing I can think of is like, when I was a kid, I would get really excited to see Kane and The Undertaker tag team together, because they were brothers, right? In quote unquote brothers. So, the what was their tag team name? The Brothers of Destruction, right? Yes. So I would get so excited whenever they teamed up, and it wasn't often. They weren't always teaming up together, but when they did, it was so special. It was so great, and I think that's what they're gonna try to do with Ray and Penta. But let's go to the main event, you guys. We already broke everything down. We said everything that we needed to say when it comes to Solo Sikoa and his new group, not the Bloodline. The only question is here, because they were in the beginning of the show, in the middle of the show, the main event. They were all over the show. Jacob Fatu and Jimmy Uso teaming up together versus Solo Sikoa and JC Mateo. Jacob and Jimmy won this match, as they should. I think the right team won, but after the match, they got jumped in a 4-on-2 situation. The only thing that's left to go over here really quick, you guys, is who's going to help Jacob and Jimmy.
Again, for the sake of time, so we don't run over for a two-parter, I'm going to make this quick. I hope to God they don't try to pull Jay back into this bullshit, because leave him alone on his singles run. I feel like it's a huge disservice to the 2 years you spent building him as a singles competitor to keep dragging him back onto SmackDown for tag team bloodline bullshit. That being said, I was very aggravated at the end of this match. The wrong people won. How do you pin your fucking brand new, newly crowned champion on free TV right after he won the fucking thing? I thought that was a stupid decision, because right off the rip, you just told me he's not a credible champion. You just told me Solo can't defend his title. You just told me he's a fluke. He's a transitional. He got pinned, and it wasn't even on the line, and it's the first match he's in since he won it. He loses and gets pinned by the very guy he took it from. So you just told me he shouldn't have been champion. And I know that the match ended with Jacob getting screwed over. But again, you just pinned your new champion, one of your top heel acts on that brand. You just fucking pinned him, his first match, holding that title. Huge disservice. This is what we're talking about when we say that 2023 Solo would have eaten 2025 Solo alive. Because this is what we're talking about. You have him beat John Cena, then you waste it by having him go on a losing streak. How do you put a title on him, his first ever singles championship, to have him eat a pin the very next time he's in that ring? Stupid.
To answer, my bad.
The wrong guy took the pin, I should say. Go ahead.
Answering Snug's question, I have an idea, but he needs to get out of the story he's in. To help Jacob Fatu and Jimmy, which these two have had an encounter, not a bad encounter, like team up encounter, like I have respect for you. I think you can throw Damian Priest in there, because you had Tala Tonga or Hikalea, whatever you want to call him. You need a tall dude. You want to go tall versus tall? Throw Damian in there. But first, get him out of the Aleister Black and R-Truth thing. I don't want him in there anymore. It's starting to get boring. They don't need to put Jay back in there, and honestly, Roman doesn't need to be in this either. Unless you just want to waste Roman. I mean, he's already not showing up to work. I think you can throw Damian Priest in there, but I was going to say this whenever we were talking about the video package. When Tama Tonga comes back, and because Solo said, my family is complete, Tama turns on Tonga, Solo, everyone else, and he joins Jacob, Jimmy, and maybe Priest if they put him in there. I think that's another person I think could help them. And I'm also confused why they had Solo eat the pin when they just put the title on him. Didn't make sense.
I do completely agree with you, Snug. The right team won, but Solo should not have taken that pin. For every reason that Blood just said. Every fucking reason. All of it. The entire thing was the fact that he is now your new United States champion. He's only held it for 2 weeks? And he's already getting pinned by the same guy he just took it from. The right team won. The wrong guy took the pin. Plain as that. It's just that. But, hey, Toxic, you can unmute for this. Here's my question for you. How would you put Priest in?
That's a good question. I don't have an answer for this, but I will get back to you on a later date.
It's as much as I love everything that Toxic also said, bringing in Priest and all of that, because yes, he is in fact one of the tallest members on the roster right now. There you go. Tall versus tall. There you go. The question is, how do you take him away from the R-Truth thing and put him into the bloodline and that whole situation?
Drop it. Just drop him from it like they drop midway through everything else. I mean, they've done it a million times. Why not do it here where it'll actually serve a better story?
You have a point.
You guys don't like the thing with Damian Priest, R-Truth, and Aleister Black?
I think it's a waste of his time as a former world champion who was just vying for a United States title and just had a blood feud with Drew McIntyre. For him to give a shit about what R-Truth and freaking Aleister Black are doing, it's kind of the same shit they did to Drew after he lost his title. They just threw him into some mid-card bullshit.
But that can lead to Damian Priest versus Aleister Black.
I never asked for that shit.
A great match.
It'd be all right. It's just going to be how high can Aleister kick his foot?
I think I think that's how you take Damian out of it. You make him have a match with Aleister, and if he wins, you're out of the story.
Think about the history with Damian Priest and R-Truth, though.
But you're talking about a feud where there's 3 baby faces going against each other. R-Truth is a baby face. Aleister is a baby face. Damian is a baby face. So who am I supposed to root for?
R-Truth is kind of heel. He's been doing some heel shit.
He's been attacking heels. He hasn't attacked anyone who is a baby face.
The one Pretty Deadly member isn't. They're not heel anymore, right?
They're straight up heel. Pretty Deadly.
I thought Pretty Deadly turned face in the whole DIY thing.
Nope.
Oh.
Yeah, we have yet to see anything from them since then.
Yeah. But before we go off on a more tangents, anything else, Snug? So for the sake of time.
No, that was it, y'all. Blood, you want to do the honors?
Sir. Thank you guys for joining us here on this Sunday. It's not our normal, but you can catch us everywhere, every single Monday, every Friday after Raw and SmackDown go off the shows, off the air respectively. You can catch us on Instagram Live. You can catch us on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, and here live on Apple and Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. And the best part is it's easy to find us. It's all at Snug Wrestling. Snug, SNUG Wrestling. everywhere you look. Follow us on every single social media platform you can think of. This Wednesday, we will be going live at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific for our predictions for the WWE PLE this upcoming Saturday, Evolution 2. All women, all night. Giggity, giggity, giggity. And as far as it is concerned, we are really excited because this is going to be the second ever all-women pay-per-view, so this should be fun. There should be a lot of great matchmaking, a lot of fun moments. You can follow us on TikTok and Instagram specifically, and Facebook, where Snug, Edgar, the leader of Snug Wrestling, does middle-of-the-show reactions during Raw and SmackDown and NXT and AEW. So if you really like to get your wrestling content filled with real in-time reactions, you got to follow us everywhere. Again, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, Monday and Fridays. But this Wednesday, predictions at the exact same times for this Saturday's PLE. And guys,
Sunday.
Or tonight, which is Sunday. Thank you, Tommy. As far as it's concerned, guys, stay safe, stay savage, and stay snug. And remember,